The first formula from cylinders is the volume of a cylinder. Now remember that a cylinder is always defined by its height and radius. So if you know the height and radius of the cylinder, you know everything about the cylinder. You know the surface area, you know the total surface area, and everything you can find out if you know the height and the radius. Okay, so height of the cylinder is denoted by small h, and the radius of the cylinder is denoted by small r. As you can see in this figure here, this is your radius, also called as the base radius. Okay, so you have two circular bases here. This is one circular base at the top, and you have another circular base. Okay, so you have two circular base, and if I take the radius of this base as r, and if I take the height of this cylinder as h, then the volume of the cylinder you can find out by the formula V is equal to pi r square h. Okay, now what about the curved surface area? What do you mean by the curved surface area? The entire surface area of the cylinder consists of uh, two parts. Okay, the curved surface area, that is the rounded part. Okay, and the circular top that you have. Okay, so if I were to talk in this, in the context of this figure, then your curved surface area will only be this area of this part. Okay, in cans you must have seen in your soft drink cans, you have where the label is put. Okay, that part is called the curved surface area. And apart from that, you have two if you want to find out the curved surface area of this cylinder, and if you know the height and radius of the cylinder, you can find this out by curved surface area is equal to 2 pi r h. Okay, and when I'm talking about the total surface area of the cylinder, I mean that the surface area which is shaded in blue, that is this curved part, and you have the area of these two circular bases also. Okay, you add up these areas, you get the total surface area of the cylinder. Okay, so that is, these are three fundamental formulas. If you remember these three formulas, you can derive all the other formulas. You don't have to remember any other formulas. Okay, let us come to a hollow cylinder. What do you mean by hollow cylinder? Hollow cylinder means that you have a certain cavity inside. For example, in case of tin cans, if you see closed tin cans, for example, let's say if you have seen a Milkmaid can, okay, if you see there's a hollow space inside in which the Milkmaid is put, right? So, and you have a certain thickness of the tin also, which it is made. Okay, in that case, you will have two radii. One will be your external radii, which is denoted by capital R, and the other will be your internal radii, internal radius, which is denoted by small r. So that the thickness of the material or the thickness of the tin can that we are talking about will be r minus r, the outer radius minus the inner radius. Okay, and area of the circular ring. Now, if you see these hollow cans from the top, what you will see is you will see this kind of concentric circle here. Okay, from the top, if you see, this is the top view, the shaded part that you see, this is the thickness actually. Okay, and this gives you a circular ring. So what is the area of the circular ring? You know that the area of the circular ring here, which we have already done, is pi r square minus r square, which is area of the outer circle minus the area of the inner circle. Okay, pi capital R square minus pi small r square. So that is the area of the circular ring at the top and at the bottom. Okay. Okay. So once we know this, now we are in a position to find out the external surface area, the external curved surface area. The external curved surface area is the area on the outside of the hollow cylindrical can, which is 2 pi into capital RH, because the external radius is capital R. Similarly, inner curved surface area is 2 pi small r h, because the inner radius is small r. Okay. Okay. Now, if you want to find out the volume of the material, it is nothing but the volume of the the outer cylinder minus the volume of the inner cylinder, right? So outer radius is capital R, so pi capital R square h minus pi small r square h. That is the volume of the material. That is in case of a tin can, that is the volume of the tin. Okay. Next, total surface area of the cylinder. Now this is interesting. Total surface area of the cylinder for a hollow cylinder. If you see this hollow cylinder, the total surface area will be the external surface area of the larger cylinder minus you have the internal surface area of this cylinder, because on the inside also you have a certain cavity, it also has a certain surface area, right? So the outer surface area plus the inner surface area, okay, plus you have this kind of a circular ring at the top and at the bottom, right? So total surface area will be external curved surface area plus internal curved surface area. So 2 pi RH plus 2 pi RH. And apart from this, you also have two circular rings at the top and the bottom. So, and the area of each circular ring is pi r square minus r square. So because there are two circular rings, you have this component here, 2 into pi r square minus r square. So this will give you your total surface area. Okay. Now, if you can remember these formulas, well and good. Okay. Otherwise, there is no need to remember these formulas. Only three fundamental formulas will work for you. If you can remember only these three formulas, that you can derive all the other formulas if you can visualize the solid. Okay. Now, two important remarks is, if you remember, if you have seen, yesterday I sent you a video in which you had a rectangular sheet which was being rolled into a cylinder. So if you have a rectangular sheet, and if I roll this sheet along the breadth to form a cylinder,
Yes, sir.
if I roll this sheet to form a cylinder, then what will happen? If I say length and breadth of this rectangular sheet is L and B respectively, then if I am rolling along the breadth, that means the height of this cylinder will become the breadth, right? And what will happen to the length? The length will take up this entire space. That means this circle will be as circumference
And
L, right? So if I'm rolling along the breadth, the length will become the circumference of the base and the breadth will become the height, right? Similarly, if I am rolling this rectangular sheet, this time I'm rolling along the length, okay? Then what will happen? If I'm rolling this cylinder along the length, this is my length, right? Then my height now will become the length, right? And my, what should be my breadth?
circumference.
Circumference of the base. This will become my breadth. So if I take the radius of the cylinder as, let's say, r, then 2 pi r must be equal to b. And in this case, if I'm rolling along the breadth, then 2 pi r must be equal to L, right? So take note of this. Okay. We'll be doing a problem based on this. I think I had back in class 8 also I had solved, I think, this kind of problem. Number 2, this question again I had sent you a video relating to this, that when a rectangular sheet is rotated about its length or breadth, let's say I have a rectangular sheet and with this as my axis, I'm rotating it. Okay. If I rotate this, this will generate a cylinder.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if this generates a cylinder, if I take the length of this as L, This is my axis along which I am rotating. And if I take the breadth of this as B, then what will happen? The height of the cylinder that is generated will become B, right? And what about the radius? What can you say about the radius of this cylinder?
L.
Radius will become L. Okay. So I can find out the volume of this cylinder if I know the length and breadth of the rectangular sheet that I am rotating. Now, in a very similar manner, let's say if I am rotating a rectangular sheet along, let's say the length. This time, this is my axis. Okay, if I take the length as L, I take the breadth as B. Again, this will generate a cylinder if I rotate it. This time, what will happen? The height of the cylinder will become equal to the length, right? And what about the radius? Radius will become the breadth of this sheet, right? So I hope this is clear.
Yes, sir.
We'll move on to the problems from cylinders. Okay. Okay, let's see this problem here. I will do only one problem today and we'll continue on Monday. A school provides milk to the students daily in cylindrical glasses of diameter 7 centimeter. So you have a cylindrical glass. Okay, and the diameter of this is given to be 7 centimeter. Okay, now if the glass is filled with milk up to a height of 12 centimeter, now let's suppose that the school gives the student this much of milk. Okay, so this glass is filled up till 12 centimeter. Okay, find how many liters of milk is needed to serve 1600 students. So there are 1600 students in the school. So how many liters of milk are required? Now you see that when you are filling the milk, this cylinder is generated. This cylindrical column of milk is generated. This cylindrical column of milk, what is the volume of the milk in one glass? Volume of milk in one glass is equal to, because the diameter is given, let's find out the radius of the glass. Radius of the glass. Say R is equal to, diameter is given 7 centimeter. So radius is 7 by 2 centimeter. Keep it as it is. Okay. You'll work with the fraction. So volume of the milk in one glass will be pi R square H, right? Which is equal to, put the value of pi as 22 by 7. If nothing is given, you will put the value of pi as 22 by 7 into R square. Radius here is 7 by 2 into height here is 12, right? So this is the volume of milk in one glass. So now you can simplify this, 22 by 7 into 7 by 2 into 7 by 2 into 12. So this 7 will cancel. This will cancel 11 times and this will cancel 6 times. So this is 11 into 7 into 6, which is equal to 462 centimeter cube. This much amount of milk is in one glass and one glass is given to one student. Okay, and how many students are there in the school? There are 1600 students. So therefore, volume of milk in centimeter cube needed to serve 1600 students. So one student consumes 462 centimeter cube of milk. So for 1600 students, what is the volume of milk needed? 462 into 1600. Okay, this much centimeter cube. But they have asked you to find out the milk in liters. Now, do you know the relation between liters and centimeter cube? We know that 1 liter is equal to 1000 centimeter cube. That means 1 centimeter cube is equal to 1 by 1000 of a liter. So 1 centimeter cube is equal to so many liters. That means this much centimeter cube, 462 into 1600 centimeter cube is equal to 462 into 1600 into 1 by 1000 liters. So what is the quantity of milk in liters that is required? Cancel these two zeros. Okay, and you can further cancel with keep 10 in the bottom in the denominator. It's okay. So 462 into 116 divided by 10. So we have 10 in the denominator. You simply multiply 462 with 16. You get 7392 divided by 10, which is equal to 739.2 liters of milk. So approximately 740 liters of milk is required to serve 1600 students of the school. Any questions on this problem? No question? Okay, then I will not proceed. I'll stop here.